I am a resident of South Carolina and a clean energy organizer for the South Carolina Sierra Club. I would like to thank the EPA for holding this public hearing and giving us the opportunity to comment on the proposed Clean Power Plan. I support the Clean Power Plan for obvious reasons because carbon pollution exacerbates climate disruption, contributes to more frequent and more violent extreme weather that costs communities, the federal government, and our economy billions of dollars each year, but most importantly because carbon pollution threatens every single human being's health. I commend the EPA for coming up with a plan that will limit carbon pollution for the first time in our country. According to the American Lung Association, nearly half of all Americans live in areas where the air is unsafe to breathe, and obviously carbon emissions play a huge part in that. In my role as an organizer for the Sierra Club, I have had the opportunity to meet with people who are directly impacted by some kind of pollution and reach out to us at the Sierra Club for help. Most recently, I had the pleasure of getting to know a man named Dan Powell. He grew up in western North Carolina, right by a coal-fired power plant. He moved to Greenville, South Carolina for work, and at 35, married the girl of his dreams, and became a father. He loved his job as Greenville County Air Quality Director and City Planner for Fountain, South Carolina. He wrote grants that brought in millions of dollars to revitalize Fountain Inn, build safe trails, and follow through with his lifelong passion of starting clean air programs. He had horrible asthma as a child due to the poor air quality near the plant. Dan has always been a health-conscious, fit, non-smoker, but at 36 years old, he fell short of breath one day and went to the doctor. That same day, January 23rd of this year, Dan was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer and was told he had 9 to 12 months to live. Sorry. He also recently found out from a neighbor from the community that he grew up in near the coal plant and was also recently diagnosed with the same deadly disease, lung cancer. The Clean Power Plan obviously will help human health by, we've heard this statistic a couple times, preventing up to 150,000 asthma attacks and 6,600 premature deaths annually by the year 2030. I spoke with Dan at length last night, and he wanted to be here but couldn't make the trip for obvious health reasons. He wanted me to share a story, and he believes that God chose him for this, so he could continue to make an impact on the world by working for cleaner air. Don't you see, it doesn't matter how many jobs are lost in coal mines or coal plants as a result of the proposed Clean Power Plan, even though new ones will be created by the new renewable energy companies. It doesn't matter if our electricity bills go up a little bit. We're talking about human life. Dan Powell is a human being, and he deserved clean air to breathe as a child. Dan Powell is a young father, a husband, a son, even a grandson. He shouldn't have to suffer. No one should have to suffer because big corporations don't want to follow the rules. I am fortunate enough to not have been around in the early 60s at a time when I'm sure many of the people in this room can remember what real smog was. What my dad describes to me as not the sissy smog that we may come across today, but honest to God, hurt your eyes, choke your lungs, filthy, disgusting, putrid air that was literally not fit to breathe. People got sick. Not, I don't really feel well sick. Really sick. We're talking really sick. It looked like the beginning of the end of the world. There were places where smog blocked out the sun. People described being able to taste it. American manufacturers poured toxic waste directly into our rivers and groundwater. Poison, real poison. It was cheaper and more efficient to dump poison in your own neighbor's yard and in the town water supply than it was to clean up your own mess. It's our country, and so we can trash it, seems to be the national state of mind. Many of our political leaders opposed any kind of clean air and water standards because cleanliness was anti-business. Those were usually the same people who swore cigarettes weren't a health hazard. Smoke your lungs out. People who didn't smoke or complained about it were un-American alarmists. These are also the same guys who have advised you to pay close attention to the Camel advertisements that said 9 out of 10 doctors agreed that smoking Camels is good for your health. They really had these advertisements. I have copies of them. They really believed that. Higher costs associated with poison cleanup meant fewer profits, and fewer profits meant fewer jobs. And if you were against jobs and against profiting from lung diseases, that meant you were un-American. But when people started choking and dying and we were forced to watch it on the evening news, we did something. We took steps to clean up cars and pass the Clean Air and Water Acts. Sanity prevailed over short-sighted profiteering. There were tough choices that had to be made, and we made them.
Your time is up.
Just
one
one
more
more
sentence. Okay.
Today, we are once again faced with tough environmental choices. If we want to live healthy lives and have a healthy planet fit for human beings, there are alternatives. The proposed Clean Power Plan is a good one. We should find more of them. But the issue that environmentalists and those who oppose this plan have and believe that more government regulation will cost American jobs and are apparently fine with the idea of the people who live in rural communities that die from poison. That doesn't necessarily give you the right to. They want the freedom to choose where their electricity comes from, but they don't necessarily get the right to choose for innocent Americans like my friend Jim Powell.